Welcome to the Courting Happiness podcast. This is a space where self-care becomes part of your day. A space where you learn evidence-based strategies to help your life, share it with those you love, and cultivate well-being at work. I'm your host, Dr. Kortni Alston. I'm a former news director, television reporter turned happiness scholar, TEDx speaker, and transformational trainer. I also understand hardships. While working my dream job in television, I lived a nightmare suddenly becoming a young widow after 86 days of marriage. I became committed to learning more about resilience, healing, and happiness. This is how I discovered my area of research, which is positive psychology. Now I'm living my calling of training individuals and organizations on happiness. And my new chapter begins with being happily engaged. The Courting and Courting Happiness is about a true courtship. I like to say commitment with happiness. The K in Courting stands for the vulnerability of sharing my story, inspirational interviews with phenomenal people, the infusion of positive psychology, and so much more. You'll learn how to commit to your well-being one episode at a time. I hope you subscribe and share. So, are you ready? Let's get started. Welcome to episode 106. I'm Dr. Courtney Austin. I'm so happy that you're here. So, it's time to take note. Yes, I said note. It's time to take note, not just to notice or give attention, but the written word, an actual note, the power of a note. I was inspired to talk about this because just a few days ago, I had a note on my car, not an advertisement or a parking ticket, right? But a beautiful handwritten note. And to provide some context, I was at work, and I work as a department chair and associate professor at a wonderful university in North Carolina. And so I was headed to my car. Because I was on my way, heading home. And like always, I opened the door of my car, sat down, and I was about to hit the button to start, only to be stopped, literally in my tracks, by seeing a little piece of paper that caught my attention. And it was a note. The handwritten note said this: "Please be careful. A stray cat crawled underneath your car near the engine. Please check before leaving. God bless." Signed with the person's full name, and I won't share their name to protect their identity. And when I saw the note, I immediately got out of my car, I looked underneath it, and there was nothing there. Thank goodness. But that note really spoke to me in more ways than one. I thought to myself, wow, what an incredible human being. This person took time to write this note to protect this beautiful animal that couldn't speak for itself, right? Or advocate for itself. And it brought me so much comfort. Believe it or not, it brought me so much comfort seeing the note, reading the note, and partly because I thought to myself, to be in a community where a person would take time to do that and to end the note with, "God bless you." This inspired me to think about the power of a note. So in my office on campus, I have many notes, and I often talk about my mentor in past episodes. For those of you who are listen to the podcast regularly, are very familiar with this name. And for those of you who are new to the podcast, welcome. And I'm talking about my advisor and dissertation chair, and her name is Dr. Julie Dodd. And she was my advisor when I was working on my PhD and my dissertation chair. And she is my lifelong mentor, such an amazing person. So in my office on campus, you'll find handwritten notes by Dr. Dodd, and even a type 1 or 2. I treasure these notes. I read them to unlock her wisdom. And I will admit that it also sends me on an adventure. It sends me on an adventure back in time. It's nostalgic in a way. I feel like I'm time traveling in a way, right? But remembering the past and how supportive she is and always continues to be. So really, these handwritten notes bring messages, yes, that are meaningful. And I like to say magical, because it releases so many positive emotions for me. And science supports it. Researchers found that pro-social gesture of expressing gratitude in handwritten notes boosts positive emotions and well-being for both the letter writing expressor and the recipient of the stated appreciation. So there's so much value. I talk about gratitude often. It's like my favorite thing. I love being grateful. Matter of fact, the other day I started my department meeting asking the department, what are you grateful for? What are you grateful for? I started off talking about what I was grateful for as it relates to being back at work, especially after surgery, and being able to work with each and every one of them. So there's so much beauty in gratitude. And so I also feel there's so much beauty in the handwritten dynamic. So I want you to think about a handwritten note that moved you. Was it from a mentor like Dr. Dodd? Was it from a neighbor? Was it from a family member? Was it from one of your dearest friends? Or was it from a stranger that leaves a note on your car to remind you of the kindness in this world? And once you think about that note, I want to encourage you to frame it as a reminder of all of those beautiful moments that you're grateful for. And I hope this creates a note to self that increases the positive emotions in your life. Let's continue this conversation online. Email us at podcast@drcourtneyalston.com. That's podcast@drkortnialston.com. Join us on Instagram at Courting Happiness. Don't forget, that's courting with a K. Also, I hope you join our private Facebook community. You can find us at Courting Happiness Podcast Community. Our private Facebook group is a safe haven to share, meet more people looking to build positive relationships, focus on well-being, and create a happier life. Now, are you ready to spread happiness? We hope you subscribe and share this podcast with your family, friends, coworkers, and all the important people in your world. We release a new episode every Thursday. Congratulations on your continued commitment to your courting happiness journey. Thank you so much for listening. We want you to be well, be happier, and be kinder to yourself. We can't wait to see you next week.